So in this video we're going to go over how to solve a trig equation. In this case we're going to solve the sine graph, and sine x is equal to 0.5 simply means, more or less, when is the sine x graph equal to 0.5? And we need it to be between 0 and 360 degrees. So we've got a set of axes here that goes from 0 to 360 on the x-axis, and we're just going to very quickly plot the sine graph, the points. So it starts at 0, and then it goes at 90 degrees, sine is 1, and then at 180 degrees it's 0, and then at 270 it's negative 1, and then back to 0 at 360. So we'll just sketch a really rough sine graph by hand. And this should become second nature to you, being able to graph. I mean, you can put the values in, but really all we need is 0, 90, 180, 270, and 360 degrees to plot a good sine graph. And then the 0.5 part, which is basically when y is 0.5. And so you get this kind of graph, and in fact what happens is you get 2 points of intersection between 0 and 360. And so what you do is you solve for those points of intersection, and this is where your graphing calculator comes in. You've got to find those points of intersection, and we're going to use a graphing calculator next to show how that works. So now we have a Casio graphing calculator. We can do this with the TI as well, but I'll show it with the graphing calculator Casio first. We go to graph function, and we put our sine x graph in there, and execute, and draw. Now, if your graph doesn't come up, first thing you've got to do is make sure that your graphing calculator is in degree modes. I'm not, I'm in radians, so I've got to change it to degrees and exit out of that. Now, when I go to draw this thing is going to give me nothing useful. And so the next phase of this is to go to my Shift F3 button, which is my window button, and go to trig F2 and have it do that. And then when you execute that and draw, you'll get a graph, a sine graph again. This is not between 0 and 360, however. So we then have to go into our window and make sure that the x-axis reflects between 0 and 360 degrees. And the rest will all take care of itself. That's the only thing that we really have to do. And then when we draw, we get our sine graph like this. And that's exactly what we want, just sine of x between 0 and 360. Now, we have to go back into our graph menu, because what we're going to do, remember sine x is equal to 0.5. So if you remember drawing this, we're just going to put y is equal to 0.5 there, and then draw that. You get a straight line for 0.5, and we have 2 points of intersection between sine and the line. We then go into Shift G solve. We ask it to find those points of intersection. So there's the first point of intersection, 30 and 0.5, and then we get it to scroll over, and it's now at the second point, which is 150 and 0.5. So 30 and 0.5 and 150 and 0.5 is solved. Those are the x values, 30 and 150, and basically usually that's all you really need is those two values, those roots for the equation, coming from the points of intersection here that you found from the graphing calculator. And with the Casio we can do this again with a TI as well.